Do you prefer streaming services, traditional TV, or a mix of both?
A mix of both, but more streaming services.
I usually use streaming services like Netflix.
Primarily use streaming services.
I typically use streaming services as a platform to watch television nowadays.
I like both because I feel like there are a lot of things that you can't get on streaming services that you can get on traditional telly. Like, you know, I watch EastEnders, for example, and I can't get that on streaming services. That's like a traditional, like, English TV thing.
What do you like the most about streaming services like Netflix or Disney Plus?
Right now, I prefer streaming services because they offer more flexibility and I can watch things anytime I want. I don't have to wait at a certain day or hour.
What I like most about streaming services is that there's no adverts. You can just choose what you want and watch it then.
I can get a mixture of different things. So on Netflix, I can watch anime as well as, you know, these series that I've grown up watching, for example, Gilmore Girls. And on Disney Plus, I can watch, you know, classic Disney movies. And then they also have so many other types of movies and series as well. Like if you like reality TV, that's also on Disney as well.
The thing that I like the most about streaming services would probably be the convenience of them.
How do you feel about subscription costs for streaming services?
Justified because typically it's no more than £10 a month or like up to £11 a month. And I think that's quite justified.
I think compared to cable, like it's a good deal, the cost of services, but for me specifically, like I'm very stubborn, so I always try to find like a discounted version, like a student discount, or I just leech off of my friends.
I feel quite 50-50 about streaming services and the subscription costs because I'd say at the start, when they first started becoming a thing, they were reasonably priced. But more recently, things are getting more expensive and the content on the subscription services are still the same. So
That over time they have gotten more costly and like the benefits have like become more pricier over time because these places are like taking advantage of it. However, I do see it as like kind of essential.
Do you feel like you have more control over what you watch on streaming platforms compared to traditional TV?
I do feel like I have more control over what I can watch on streaming platforms because, like what I said before, it's not like scheduled viewing times. You can watch whatever you want whenever you want to watch it.
yes, because streaming platforms offer more control with like on-demand viewing, whereas traditional TV is quite fixed and you don't have as much option as you would with streaming services.
Yes, there's definitely more control in streaming programs.
Do you watch traditional broadcast television? If so, what do you watch?
And I don't watch traditional broadcast television anymore just because I don't have the TV.
I honestly don't watch any broadcast television anymore because even for the news, I watch Instagram or just go to the website of the channels of the news.
I don't watch any traditional cable. The only time I do is if I'm waiting at the dentist. Yes, I still watch BBC, ITV, Channel 4, etc. For the news as well, like news, and then shows as well.
Sometimes I watch like The Simpsons or I watch BBC programs like The Traitors or like new talent shows.
Are there any specific reasons why you might choose traditional TV over streaming?
The reasons I think some people might want to choose traditional cable over streaming is the previous reason I said before. Sometimes like we're all coming from different cultures, and you know, for example, in Ramadan there's like specials, and these are definitely not on. I wouldn't choose traditional TV over streaming. I prefer streaming.
Like I'd ever specifically choose traditional TV over streaming is if the content isn't available or convenient on streaming. But that's very unlikely. So
Do you feel nostalgic about traditional TV? If yes, what's your memories or experiences?
I do feel nostalgic about traditional TV because I remember being a kid on Saturday morning or and watching cartoons, or when I come from home from school, and I'd always watch Horrid Henry. And then in the morning before school, I'd always watch Roy. Those were the things that were always on at those times. So that's quite nostalgic for me.
I think because when I was a kid, I always watched traditional TV. So I remember I literally watched the half of the ads on traditional TV.
So I definitely feel nostalgia with traditional TV because I grew up with Disney, Nickelodeon.
Definitely. I feel like, with traditional TV, I think even just down to the shows that I grew up watching and that like a lot of kids here grew up watching, kind of, on CBeebies, that's sort of something and that's like a connection that I don't think streaming services could ever have.
I would say I feel quite nostalgic about traditional television because of the atmosphere it had back in the day. Like, since everything was structured, you'd sit down with your family and take the time to watch whatever was on. I would specifically say that the streaming, well, not the streaming, but the shows that I feel most nostalgic about are like Disney ones, like Wizards of Waverly Place, and yeah. Whenever I think of those, they take me back to the time that like traditional TV was still a thing.
What would you like to see improved or changed in streaming services or traditional TV?
I think it could be better. Yeah, when I see Netflix, there's a lot of variety of the shows. There's documentary, there's education stuff, and also kid section. So
Better content than traditional TV. I just think it's more accessible than traditional TV.
Yes, I do. They specifically label themes and genres to watch from, whereas traditional TV, you have to flip through all the channels. If you don't see something you like, there's basically nothing to watch.
What advantages or disadvantages do you associate with streaming or traditional TV?
Advantages to traditional TV is that it's pretty much free. Like, whereas with streaming services, you have to pay a monthly fee. However, a disadvantage for traditional TV is the adverts, and they are so long now. I've noticed that when I use like a streaming platform like ITVX, like when I'm watching Love Island, I feel like the adverts, there's so many more adverts.
Off the top of my head, the advantages I associate with traditional TV is honestly nothing. It's also expensive. That's actually a disadvantage. I would say it's just expensive and you don't get as much variety. With streaming, the advantages I associate is just so much more variety and flexibility, and not just time-wise, but flexibility location-wise. Like, I can watch a show on Netflix, at a coffee shop or at school. I don't need to be at home in front of my TV in a specific place.
I don't know if I'd say there's much advantages with traditional television now that streaming services is a thing.
Advantages is that I can choose what to watch. Subtitles tend to be more reliable. Disadvantages, like the quality of it, I guess. Traditional TV, I guess it gives you more ideas what to watch, and it's not.
Do you believe traditional TV will still be relevant in the future? Why or why not?
I don't think traditional TV will be relevant in the future anymore, just because already I think people are watching it less and less due to streaming services, and also people don't have the attention span to.
I don't think traditional TV will be popular in the future or relevant in the future, because I think with everything else, things are just becoming so much more digital and so much more connected and centered around our phones, our laptops. So I think a traditional TV will become, it definitely won't be a necessity.
I think so. I honestly definitely think it will still be relevant in the future.
I believe that it will become way less relevant in the future due to the fact that everyone is on these streaming devices now, whether that's Netflix or Disney Plus. Everyone's on some sort of streaming device now just to watch what they want to watch.
What would you like to see improved or changed in streaming services or traditional TV?
I want to see streaming services take less advantage of people's money and try like up their plans, even if people have been using them for a long time. However,
I don't know what I would like to see improved or changed. Well, definitely for streaming services, I want Arabic subtitles to be available on like as much shows and films as possible because, oftentimes I want to watch things with my mom.
I think for traditional TV to stay being used, I think they should use less ads, and I think for streaming services, I don't know, I think maybe charge less, because I remember Netflix used to be like £5 and now it's £10. That's a bit